You're not allowed here. Get away." Ella's shouts were useless. The bear continued digging into the retired doctor's chest. The subadult male brown bear was looking to prove his dominance to the small crowd of people, and more than willing to test unconventional food sources. "Get off him! Stop it!" Ella screamed, stabbing at the bear's hindquarters with her ski pole. It finally acknowledged her, turning his large head in her direction and lowering it aggressively. Ears back, he gave a ferocious roar as a final warning to her, attempting to protect his fresh kill. When his mouth opened, Ella, without hesitation, thrust the spiked end of her ski pole into his mouth. The bear clamped down and easily bit off the end of the ski pole. He bellowed and lifted onto his hind legs, revealing his entire 7-foot-tall standing height. Ella had the bear's attention this time. She didn't know much about bears, but she knew the young male now regarded her as a threat to its next meal. Her group of ski students wore matching expressions of terror as the bear's victim, 61-year-old Anders Nilsson, groaned in pain on the hard-packed snow. Without stopping to think, she threw her weight forward into her skis and took off down the hill, one remaining ski pole in hand. Almost simultaneously, the bear lunged forward in pursuit of the young ski instructor. What's up, guys? Iceman here. So this story is called Downhill Bear, and it's already seeming to be quite intriguing. But first off, I'd like to thank you guys for all your support on this channel thus far, as it has been growing exponentially. So if you will, like this video and subscribe to the page. And make sure to hit the bell so you're notified next time I post a video. And if you want to support me further, you can become a patron or a channel member. Links in the description below. And blessings to those who support the Iceman. So before I bore you with his bearing details, let's get into this bear of a story. Like many Scandinavian children, Ella began skiing nearly as soon as she could walk. She loved being outdoors and was naturally athletic. Skiing turned out to be in an area of particular talent for the young woman, and she was urged by family to begin ski instructor training. It didn't take long for her to achieve Level 1 ski instructor certification, which landed her a position at the Orca Ski Resort, teaching beginner through low-level intermediate ski lessons at only 19 years of age. The resort village is adjacent to the Kebnekaise mountain range, offering a vast array of beautifully groomed pistes with gorgeous views of the mountains. The Norwegian border is only a few miles away, and the area is a popular vacation destination. Mount Kebnekaise, at 2,106 meters high, is the tallest peak in Sweden and lies north of the Arctic Circle. Lush valleys lined with birch and meandering rivers were formerly covered by huge glaciers, now shrunk back to reveal rich silt deposits and abundant habitat for wildlife during the growing season. In the harshest part of the winter, most animals either migrate or hibernate. Reindeer are a historically important food source in this Arctic environment for both human and animal inhabitants. Brown bears, gray wolves, Arctic foxes, and wolverines are the primary predators. Low human density in Sweden has allowed the population of animals to flourish, and the country is home to an estimated 3,000 brown bears. Commonly considered shy, the omnivorous brown bears are not frequently seen by humans. Their main food source in the summer months are colonies of ants. They also dig for roots and tubers and enjoy the season's ripe berries. However, they are also known to hunt larger animals, like moose and reindeer, especially when they emerge from hibernation in the spring, with voracious appetites. One female brown bear, tracked in a research study, killed and ate an incredible 38 reindeer calves in the single month after she emerged from hibernation. Inconsistent weather patterns or individual variation can sometimes cause a bear to break hibernation early, before the calving season has begun, resulting in a desperately hungry bear. Ella loved skiing, but more than anything, she loved people. She cherished her family and friends after losing her father to cancer when she was 11, and a close friend in a car accident only a few years later. She considered her ski students family as well, and took personal responsibility for their safety on the trails. "I wasn't going to let someone die on my watch," she said of the Orca incident. "It's a privilege for me to lead people throughout the Kebeniski Ranges. Many of them are unfamiliar with the region, and many are quite new to skiing. It's my duty to make sure they arrive home safely." When Ella led the hungry bear away from her ski group that day, she knew she was taking a risk. She hadn't even been sure the bear would follow, but when he did, she felt a rush of adrenaline and pushed herself down the slope faster than she'd ever skied before. The bear had taken off with a sprint, but slowed to an easy jog behind the girl. He seemed a little unsure about his decision to leave the kill. Ella slowed a little as well and took a few breaths. The huddled group of ski students was shrinking behind her as she glided further down the hill. She could see they were gathered around the body of Anders, a retired doctor from Norway. She hoped they would be able to quickly contact the resort for help. She had no choice but to continue down the slope, drawing the bear away. Suddenly, she turned a corner and came to another group of skiers on the trail. They saw us coming down the hill, the bear and I, and people began screaming. She veered off to the side to avoid them and keep the bear away. But the bear was still focused solely on Ella. The skiers waved their poles and yelled at the bear, but his steps didn't falter. "Go back into the woods! You're a lunatic!" Ella screeched at it. They had reached the end of the piste, the groomed trail, and she felt her skis drag in the soft powder. The bear gained on her a little, and she turned and hissed. The onlookers were still screaming at the bear, and finally, the young Bruin noticed the group of people shouting and waving their arms. The bear slowed to a walk, visibly tired, and made a line to the forest. Ella showcased utter bravery when she faced the 360-pound brown bear. "I know I could have easily died, but I wasn't just going to let it continue mauling Dr. Anders without trying to intervene. There were a few close calls, but it never touched me." Anders Nilsson survived the incident, albeit with several scars and a punctured lung, as well as a broken wrist and forearm. Ella rightfully earned the praise and respect of her students and employers that day. She still instructs at Orca Ski Resort, only today she carries pepper spray and a new awareness and caution of the wildlife in the area. Jeez, what do you guys think about that story? It's crazy because only a few weeks ago I saw this video on YouTube of some guy going down a ski hill in Romania or something, and a freaking brown bear was chasing him. I wonder how unusual these incidents are at all the various ski resorts that are in regions that have brown bears. What a terrifying thing that would be. Do you think you'd be brave enough to try to fight a bear off of a victim? If you saw them screaming and struggling, do you think you'd have the guts to do something about it? Or would you rather just turn and run? The bravery exhibited by Ella was extremely impressive in my opinion, and I can only hope that I'd do the same if I saw someone getting mauled to death by a bear. What an exhilarating thing it would be to be chased down a mountain by one, because any false move and you could just fall over and the thing would catch up to you, and who knows what would happen next. But really, all these stories adding up just makes me want to be better prepared the next time I go out into bear country. And to be honest with you, I've only been skiing one time, and I almost broke my freaking neck while doing it. So that was the last time I actually hit a slope. Come to think of it, it was a snowboard that I was riding and not skis, but nonetheless, I'm not sure if I'll ever do that again. But it's just interesting to think of the other factors involved on the ski hill if you're in bear country. But I really appreciate you guys for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts on these matters in the comments below. Check out my other videos, and I'll link the playlist that this video is in the description below. So I'd really be interested to hear what you guys have to say about the other videos in this legendary bear attacks playlist of mine. And again, subscribe to this page if you haven't yet for more chilling tales from the Iceman.